Rogue considering selling their LEC spot. Oh shit. Team Falcons is one of the teams interested. 100% Team Falcons is buying that slot. Are you kidding me? Sources: Rogue considering selling their LEC spot. Team Falcons is one of the teams, one of the interested teams. The LEC landscape might change once again. Multiple sources familiar with the situation shared with Sheep Esports on Friday that Infinite Reality, the parent company of Rogue, are considering selling their franchised LEC spot. At the time of writing, no deal has been finalized, and Rogue could still decide to stay in the league next year. However, multiple parties have entered discussions with the organization. Team Falcons, an esports team from Saudi Arabia, have joined a lot of esports titles in the past few years, including games such as Rocket League and Counter-Strike 2. Yeah, I don't know anything about Counter-Strike 2, but I know that I see Team Falcons CS a lot. I hear talk about them a lot. Probably have a pretty good team then, or maybe just a popular team, not sure. They have also been trying to join the LEC since 2022. Back then, they even reached an agreement with Astralis, which Riot Games blocked. Astralis ended up selling their LEC slot to Carmine Corp in 2023. In November 2023, Team Falcons began negotiations with Rogue for the LEC spot following Koi's separation from Infinite Reality. However, no deal was reached due to complications with Riot Games once again, according to sources familiar with the situation. Sheep Esports could not confirm the exact details of this rejection. Okay, so Riot is like, we can't have the Saudi team in LEC. This year, discussions between Team Falcons and Infinite Reality have resumed. While Riot Games is cautiously monitoring the situation, it remains uncertain if their stance has changed. League of Legends is one of the 21 games featured at the Esports World Cup this summer at Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So they can take the Saudi money, but they're like, you can't take the Saudi money. Cash and equity. Several other teams have shown interest in Rogue's LEC spot. As of now, it is unclear which organization is most likely to take over if a deal is made. The main question is the price, especially with fluctuating viewership. The most recent valuation was 26 million euros when Astralis sold their spot to Carmine Corp in October of 2023. Sources indicate Rogue prefers a cash deal over equity. That tells you enough right there, bro. Like, that should tell you how little they think the slot is actually going to be worth. If they're like, all right, can we make a deal like 20% equity and 20 million? They're like, no, only cash. We want to be out of this shit, bro. People are trying to fucking leave, bro. It is common for selling LEC teams to retain some stake in their LEC spot. For example, in 2022, Misfits Gaming kept a 20% stake after selling their spot to Team Heretics, valued at 45 million euros, according to a report from BlixGG. So in 2 years, like a year and a half, essentially, but like 2 years, 2 seasons, it went from 45 million euros for a slot in LEC to 26 million euros. That is not a good sign now, is it? Astralis also retained ownership over the entity holding Carmine Corp's LEC spot with an option for additional share transfers, allowing the French team to acquire 100% by 2031. So like, KC won't fully own the slot for a long ass time. All right. Rogue joined the franchised LEC in 2019 and showed steady improvement until winning the league's trophy in summer 2022. The same year, Rect Global, Rogue's parent company, was acquired by a metaverse company Infinite Reality in July. In October 2022, Rogue merged with Koi, a Spanish organization owned by Ibayanos. Less than a year later, Koi split from Rogue due to disagreements. As reported by Sheep Esports, in November 2023, in the separation process, Infinite Reality retained 4 teams, but dropped their Rocket League roster from the RLCS and had Fnatic take over their Rainbow Six Siege spot, leaving them with only the LEC spot and the Carolina Royal Ravens in the CDL. I think that's COD, right? It remains to be seen what Infinite Reality plans for esports earlier this year. I mean, it remains to be seen what their plan is for esports. Like, they're just trying to get out or what? Like, this doesn't seem like they want to be in esports, right? They're a company, a metaverse company. They probably want to only do esports if it has something to do with the metaverse rather than just like the traditional esports, I would assume. Earlier this week on Tuesday, Infinite Reality announced the $450 million acquisition of Land Vault through an all-stock transaction. God damn, these motherfuckers have money. Land Vault is a tech company specializing in immersive technology and digital twins for Fortune 500 companies and government organizations. Bro, like, I don't know why. Like, maybe I'm just a boomer. When I read all this shit, it just seems like it's all a fucking scam. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, I just don't believe in that, like, sector at all. But, it is what it is, man. Like, maybe that's just the future. I think that maybe I also have a weird mentality because like so much of crypto ended up just being complete scams. So when I see like metaverse shit and I see like it's a tech company specializing in immersive technology and digital twins for Fortune 500 companies, I'm like, like, is this like really the future, or is it just people saying it's the future and then trying to get out? But I don't know. Like, I'm not super educated on it. It's just like a intuition feeling thing that I have. So after failing to reach playoffs in all 3 LEC splits in 2024, Rogue have been eliminated from the rest of the competitive season. Despite disappointing results, there is no indication that it is due to the lack of ambition. Last year, Rogue managed to re-sign Larson on a multi-year deal, despite the Swedish mid laner being a prominent free agent, as reported by Sheep Esports. Sheep Esports reached out to Rogue and Riot Games before publishing this report, but both parties declined to comment, of course. All right, Rogue trying to sell their spot, and it really just depends. Like, Falcons will buy it 100%. Most likely, if they're allowed to, because this Saudi team wants to be represented in all esports, I think. And at this point, it's like, this is going to have to be the decision, right? I keep on saying it. The money is not coming from the places that people want it to come from. Like, fans will tell you that you're Satan for accepting this, right? They'll say, oh, you're... Oh, also, one thing. Just here's an aside real quick. I found it really funny how anti-gambling Koi fans and K-Corp fans were when they found out that I actually had a gambling sponsorship, right? And I'm like, okay, bro, like if you're really if you're like anti any of that, that's fine, bro. If that's your opinion, cool. Then I saw both those teams. By the way, those motherfuckers have way more money than me. Like Kometo, Iba, they got way more money than me. Insane amounts more money than me. I mean, just look at the view counts, right? And those guys took the Saudi bag to have their teams represented in Saudi, but that was not an issue. I feel like that's a little bit like hypocrite. I mean, I guess you could technically have those morals, but if you're like really like, you're like so pro humanity that you're like anything like alcohol or sugar, anything that could potentially harm a person, you're really anti, but then you're like kind of siding with the Saudi side of things. It just seems weird to me, bro. That seems like a weird contradiction. It seems a weird place to draw the line. I feel like you got to keep the same energy when somebody you like does it compared to when somebody you don't like takes a bag that you're upset with. But you know, it is what it is. Point is, you need to get money from somewhere. Teams are not getting traditional sponsors. Like if you look at sponsorships in general, right? Think about how few actual sponsors people have nowadays compared to, you know, back in like 2018, 2019. If you looked at a stream, like somebody who would accept sponsorships, right? They would normally have, I would say like between 6 to 7 sponsors at a time. Like I remember like personally, I would just always get like rotating sponsors for like random different like games companies and things like that, or just people trying to get into League of Legends like that had some type of like product. I would constantly get those. Everyone had at least an energy drink sponsor. Everyone had like people had G Fuel, whatever. Like Rad IRL had G Fuel and all this stuff. People were sponsored by like peripherals.
You get to see all of this great variety.
Oh, whoops! I randomly clicked the LCK stream. But yeah, like there was all this stuff, right? And then you look at how things are now. Even the biggest streamers don't have many sponsors because people just don't view it as profitable to market to esports audience because people view it as the esports audience not paying for things. So your decision is, do you take this type of money or do you just like not get paid for what you're doing? Like look at a streamer of casual size, right? He's got like one consistent sponsor, which is Displate, which is actually a really good sponsor. I like Displate a lot. I'm not sponsored by them. I've never been sponsored by them, but I have a few Displates in my house. I like them. I think it's a good product, right? Good sponsor. But like somebody like Kadro who's like a 30, 40K Andy, bro, in previous years, this guy would have like 5, 6 major sponsors at all time. Like everyone should want to align with this guy, but because it's esports content, it's like harder to find these sponsors that come through. So is what it is. Just be like CS and get gambling and Air Force sponsors, bro. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. We're not above the fucking gambling sponsors in League of Legends. Like when you literally have sports, which is marketed to younger people, I would argue. And every sport has like 50 gambling sponsors, bro. I'm watching TNT. And in between the game, they're like, all right, here's Chuck and Shaq's pick. Like, he's like, I think it's going to be under 209 points. Like, they just fucking get in there, bro. They're like doing the fucking full reads and everything on TV where there's more kids watching that shit. Like, I don't know.